Crisp.
It's
apple.
very crispy outside. Not to be mixed up with Christmas. So hi, St. Louis. We're so excited to be here again with you this week. Kids are back to school. We just kind of celebrated the end of summer. How does that feel?
I know. It was so sad. But now I feel like that the weather's starting to change. I feel like we can get into fall mode. I'm not totally there yet, but it's coming soon.
It was fun because we had Angie Eckert on last week, who was our apples and talking about being out at the farm. And that was like to me, a good way to kind of segue into the fall, because we got to talk about all the things we love to do in the fall, and that smell and the
fall activities. It's just nice after all the humidity that we have to be able to finally have a little bit of pep in your step, as opposed to walking outside to like shower outside.
Yes. I woke up this morning and the first thing I heard was our neighbors have a rooster, and he did the cock-a-doodle-doo. And I have to tell you, it made me so happy. I walked out there and I'm like, hey, chickens! It was so fun to wake up to that this morning, and I felt so fallish. So other exciting news is that we have a really amazing guest on.
We really do.
Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Yes, we are so excited about this week's guest. She is a friend and someone that we've worked with for the last couple of years, and is just really an innovator in a very innovative field.
Yeah.
And especially for being in St. Louis, where we're not always known for our innovation, Jamie has really helped push the button and just push the pedal to the metal with constantly innovating not only her business, but herself, which is really, really exciting. So we're happy to welcome Jamie Briesemeister from Intergration Controls today. We're so excited you're here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, ladies.
Well, and what's really exciting with what Jamie does and what I'm obsessed with is this smart home concepts. You know, really what Jamie does is she brings the technology into your home to make life more simple.
Absolutely. And easier.
And and I kind of really need that in my life right now, is simplicity. But I know that Jamie has she has a really great origin story, which I love hearing about, that we're going to share with everybody. And then we're going to talk a little bit about burnout. This is the time of year, gals. I don't know about you all, but I'm hitting my moment of burnout, as my business partner looks at me with that knowing look.
Well, I didn't do anything.
She's like, I know you're burning out.
It's cyclical.
Oh, it's so cyclical. But, fall is truly, and no matter what industry you're in, no matter what type of job you have, I really feel like fall is kind of that moment of you're exhaling. You've got, basically you're kind of pushing through to the end of the year with your business or your job or whatever it is. And you're now starting to kind of think about next year in 2026.
Absolutely. Already.
And it's really, it comes at the end of the year where we have so much going on, usually in December, that, it's just not time to take the foot off the gas yet.
Right.
I mean, there's still a lot to do to finish the year strong. And it sometimes takes a little help to get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know another thing that we're going to talk about with Jamie, and Angela's going to geek out on this, is, the books. She's a book nerd and Angela's a book nerd.
Love it.
Yeah.
And she's going to give us some great tips on books, authors, tips, all the things. So stay tuned for that later on. So where do we want to start, Jamie?
Thank you. Well, I don't know. We can start at the start.
Let's start at the start.
Let's start how Intergration Controls came to be. And how you've, we talked a little bit a couple minutes ago, just how you've innovated over time in a very fast-paced, changing industry. I mean, when I think of you, that's what I always think of immediately, is just oh my gosh, technology is changing every single second. And how do you stay on top of that?
Well, you can't stay on top of everything. And I think that's one thing I had to come to terms with is, yes, technology is changing in very diverse ways. And, our sector is in the smart connected home environment. And there are some tangential technologies to that. But beyond that, I can't and won't learn everything. And nor does my company want to excel at everything. If you try to excel at everything, you become a great opportunity. You have a great opportunity to not exceed and excel in one area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which for us is that residential home technology space.
And what a great space to be in. I mean, you really work with some of the best brands in the industry, brands that we don't even normally have in St. Louis.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Bang
Mhm.
& Olufsen is one that used to have a store, a mono brand store, as they called it, in the Galleria.
Yep.
That closed a number of years ago, and now we're bringing that product line back to St. Louis for all the B&O lovers out there and people that haven't seen or experienced it yet.
Yeah.
Our brand is typically, you know, when people hear smart home, they typically think of gadgets and gizmos, black boxes and wires.
Right.
And that is about the opposite of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly to simplify and enrich life. We do so in a curated way. We make sure technology fits into a lifestyle, not just your lifestyle, but your aesthetic, and that it serves a purpose.
Right.
And most of the things that we do are hidden behind walls, pretty bespoke. It's relatively discreet. Like invisible speakers or keypads instead of, you know, multiple banks of light switches and that sort of thing. And Bang & Olufsen was a brand that we decided would be a speaker that we would highlight because they're so architecturally beautiful.
Yeah, they're really cool
They
looking.
really are. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about how
Yeah.
you started.
The beginning.
Yeah,
So
get back to that beginning.
Yeah.
We get distracted with
Yeah,
all the
sure,
shiny
yeah.
things.
Yeah, I know,
Let's-
right?
let's
Shiny.
go.
Well,
Yeah.
we're St.
Yeah.
Louis we get distracted by shiny
Yeah.
objects.
We want to hear about how you started.
Yeah. So in 2004, so way before the smartphone was invented, in 2004, my husband and I were both experiencing a bit overwhelmed with our current jobs.
Yeah.
I was actually a speech and language pathologist.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was practicing in a female-dominated field,
Yeah.
health and wellness focused, working with families and their children. And he was in a technology field and working in lighting and in sales and had done a number of things in the integration world before, both as an integrator and IT and what have you. And he and a few friends were interested in creating a business and
That's
he asked
cool.
me to help. And I was a bit burnt out. I said, yeah, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
working nonprofit. Let's do this as a side gig.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
help you. And here we are almost 21 years later and I'm running the company and he hasn't come to work in the couple years.
Well, so
It's a big fast forward.
I know,
A lot
right?
happened
Right?
between those 21 years.
Right.
well, so I'm super curious. So you came in, you had 4 partners?
So I wasn't technically a partner and owner
Okay.
early on. Yeah,
Okay.
It was my husband, Jeff,
Uh-huh.
and then Stuart and Alan were 2 other partners.
Right.
Through the years, they wanted to be bought out
Right.
and things happened.
Yeah.
We have another partner now. His name is Keith Fenewald. He's been a
Okay.
partner of ours for 18 years now, I believe.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
17 years. Yeah. So
How long have you been in business?
2004, December
so
8th.
21 years.
Wow.
21
That's
years
amazing.
this year. Yeah, we get to drink champagne this year.
Woo!
Yay.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So how did the transition from being I'm coming in to help to partner? Like,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
When I get involved in something and see an opportunity to make it better, I have a hard time holding that back and turning that
Like
off.
most female
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And, a lot of integrators and a lot of integration companies start as hobbyists.
Right.
So it's a passion project. It's something they love. They
Right.
love the technology. I came in it with a different perspective. I
Mhm.
actually don't like the technology
Uh-huh.
because I don't like to put it together. I don't like to set it up, configure it,
Mhm.
make it work for me. I only
Right.
like it when it comes to me working for me already.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And so I knew like he had been that person in our life.
Mhm.
We've been together for 30 years. So
Yeah.
for 30 years, he's been our tech guru. And I knew that he makes life easy in my home. Let's do that for other people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so originally it was, helping out on the marketing side and,
Yeah.
any of the books and anything on the back end while he was doing,
Yeah,
let's say the hard
typical-
work.
Right. The
Right.
typical stuff that we're put into our
Exactly.
little boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then over time, lots of things happened. There was an analog to digital transition where
Yeah.
things stopped going analog and stopped going more digital.
Right.
We had a baby.
Yeah.
And man, that changes
That
everything.
changes it all.
It gives everything perspective
Mhm.
and like, why are we doing this?
Right.
It's not just to be a hobby anymore. It has to make money and
Right.
sustain a family and sustain our employees and, pump some money and some goodwill back into the community.
Right.
Right.
We've looked at the revenue over the past 20 some years we've been in business, there's over 22 million that we've generated back into the community.
That's
which is
Wow,
amazing.
Jamie, that's
Yeah.
huge.
That is a massive
Thanks.
accomplishment.
It was a slow ramp. You know, we want to double, triple that over time, but
It's pretty cool, though.
It is pretty cool.
And the fact that that's part of your culture, and you guys started that from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Is the give back.
Yeah, the give back. And it was, you know, treat your people well.
Yeah. Yeah.
As hobbyists turn into business people, sometimes you don't understand how to be a good business person. You have to
Yes.
learn that skill. And I had a master's in science, but not in business.
Right.
So, but able to learn, but
Yeah.
needed some guides. So back to the books. Like
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah.
a lot of that came in. Business coach, really just jumping in and learning from the ground up.
So describe for us, because 21 years ago, technology was not what it is
No.
today. So, and for most of our listeners, they're probably mostly our age, and
Yeah.
in this, you know, we all remember what it was like 21 years ago. But what was the technology 21 years ago that you guys entered with?
I love that. In that era, I
Mhm.
say like we were basically creating an app for every home that we designed.
Right.
So not only were we designing the software, the user interface, the code that makes all the technology work together, we also provided the technology, et cetera.
Got it.
And back in those days, it was either Crestron or AMX were like the top two.
That's like a
products.
foreign language to me.
I know, right? Yeah.
I've never
But
even.
And you wouldn't,
Yeah.
because it was built for the custom integration
Right.
industry.
Right.
And at that time too, these products were extremely expensive.
Right.
Mhm.
So the top 1 or 0.1% of the population could really afford it.
Right. And what
Um,
were you doing? Like, what was something that was being integrated into the homes?
You know, what's great is we opened up by saying technology changes all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we still have projects today that we started more than like 21 years
Yeah.
ago, still working, still functional,
that's cool.
still able to be updated, et cetera.
That's great.
Because we led with the experience and not the actual tech.
Got it.
You know, what do I want? I want to make
Ah.
lighting simple for me. Well, I'm going to
Mhm.
find the best product that does that with the most sustainable product with a brand that tends to last.
Mhm.
It's not the cheapest piece of garbage.
It
on
wasn't the
the market.
clap on, clap
It was
off.
not the clap on, clap off. No, we didn't do that one.
Clever. Oh my
Clap
God.
on.
Right? Clap on, clap off. Same concept though, right?
Right.
And even back then, like I was asked a few times, do you think voice control will ever be a
Yeah.
part of the home? And
Isn't
my
that
answer was
nuts?
no.
Oh,
Because at
crazy.
that time, like it was analog. You have to physically install microphones in
Yeah.
your house. How is that going to work?
Yeah.
Right.
Here we are in today's world, and we have voice control technology all over the place now.
Mhm.
Wow.
But yeah, so like what used to take literally 3 months
Yeah.
to code a system, create the graphic interface, install it, et cetera, can now take 3 days.
Wow.
That's amazing.
With the exception of the install,
Wow.
managing construction timelines and all that. But we're able to deliver a lot more, a lot faster, and at a better cost.
Right.
So
More accessible to people.
very
Yeah.
accessible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like
Yeah.
the technology now, it's interesting. We built our house 21 years ago.
yeah. Okay.
So our technology back then was, the speakers,
Some knobs on the wall, maybe.
knobs on. I have lots
Yeah.
of knobs
Lots
on the
of knobs.
wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like we just literally had our security system updated from
Mhm.
21 years ago. I
Right.
mean, it's like, down to those little things, like everything was so archaic just 10,
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Well, not even 20 years ago. We built our house in 2012, and it's the same exact
It's
thing.
so
I'm thinking when you're
crazy.
talking, I'm thinking about all the receivers and boxes that we
Right.
have in our
Yeah.
closet
Yes.
that aren't even hooked up to anything
Right.
anymore because
Right.
we don't need it
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the things hidden in your cabinets,
Yeah,
all those
exactly.
little plugs.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
And
Yeah.
if we find a house that is well wired like that,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of a gold mine. Like we get really excited
Yeah.
because we can do so much with that older wiring.
Got it.
So like when we're talking about designing a system today, just as we were over 20 years ago, it's starting with the infrastructure.
Mhm.
It's, concepting and dreaming of your future. What do you think you want to do in this
Right.
dream
Right.
home? And then you put the infrastructure in when you're building it
Yeah.
so you can add those pieces later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so much harder to go back and add it after the fact.
Yeah, that makes a
Right.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, and we've seen, if everybody needs to go into your showroom
Thank
because
you.
it is incredible and it really
gorgeous.
does inspire you. And
Thank
I will
you.
tell you, so your theater room is so cool because you actually have that open wall so that you can see kind
Yeah.
of the background and what actually goes into it. it's fascinating. I am not an electronic geek or I like you. Just make it all work.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what we all really want.
Yeah.
You know?
But seeing that background was really interesting to me because I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Thank you.
I guess we still have that. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And home theaters made a bit of a resurgence,
Mhm.
even a little prior to COVID, but definitely with COVID.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
You know, people were at home. They're like, I need something that's a bit more immersive and,
Yeah.
more entertaining. It really draws me into this experience because I'm home. I want to fully enjoy this
Mhm.
moment.
You just brought up a good point. I bet COVID really disrupted your industry.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
In a good way and also very challenging. Like
Yeah.
getting product was the hardest part.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
stuck
can
on
see that.
a boat or in a
Mhm.
shipyard somewhere. Being able to go on site and
Mm.
managing
Yeah.
everybody's feelings about that, both
Right.
my employees and my clients,
Right.
and being respectful of everybody and where they are
Yeah.
at that moment in time.
Yeah. So
It was
crazy.
challenging. As entrepreneurs yourselves, I imagine when everybody else got to take 6 or more weeks off, we didn't.
No.
Oh God.
No, it was hard. It was a harder 6 weeks than
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it was trying to figure out how we stay in business.
Oh, all
Yeah.
the things.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
the things.
It was throw it at the wall, see if it
Yeah.
works.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so much of our businesses had been with events to that
Right.
point. So suddenly you have people that can't gather.
Right.
And I mean, but that's what's fun about it too, right?
Yeah.
That's what's fun about being an entrepreneur is you
Right.
can flip on a dime and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did. And, I had been working remotely. I volunteered for CDO, which is our industry association, for
Mhm.
over 13 years and had been working with them remotely. So I was really comfortable with it. But setting up your home and
Yeah.
making sure you have Wi-Fi, that was a
Yes.
huge one. We had a lot of families realize that the Wi-Fi in their kids' bedrooms
Yes.
or where they had to go downstairs was absolute garbage.
Right.
Mhm.
And then we
And
had
when
to-
everybody's on the same wire,
Yeah.
the same wireless, I mean, it
Created
really,
some stress.
it really did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
Really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, because then you're trying now your Wi-Fi is like your conduit to make your money.
Right.
It's not just about
Correct.
streaming and scrolling
That's
anymore.
right.
Like we're talking about this is your moneymaker.
Right.
And if your network goes down when you're in the middle of trying to sell a big job or whatever it is that you do.
Right.
One of our clients did, she was a yoga instructor and she had to
Mhm.
transition everything digitally. And
gosh.
so
Yeah.
anytime anything happened with her network, most of which was
She was
out of our
she had her
control.
people in
Right.
downward
Yeah,
dog for like
yeah,
20 minutes.
For real.
Everyone, downward dog.
Yeah, freeze.
Pause.
That's
I
funny.
love it. But yeah, you're so right. I mean, I guess, technology, as much as we all kind of try to pretend like it's not as important, it is really part of
Really
our lifeblood.
important.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's more important now than it's been prior and
Mhm.
it's not going away.
Yeah.
And I think
No.
that's really, you mentioned my my new design center. Thank you.
Yes.
That's
it's
but
amazing.
purposeful.
Mhm.
It's very intentional to show clients and users, builders, architects, designers. You really need to at least ask the question,
Right.
think about it. People will have televisions in their home. They
Mhm.
will have light switches in their home.
Right.
They will have thermostats and garage door openers and locks on their door, and they
Right.
might want to see who's at their door.
Right.
They're not going to ask these questions.
Mhm.
Like, when was the last time you asked a builder when you were designing or building your house that you wanted running water?
Right.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
assume it's
you assume
going to
it's going to
be
be
there.
there.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you're so right. That is actually, again, being the person that kind of put my head in the sand when we were building, I didn't ask any of those questions. I assumed you're going to have everything wired correctly.
Sure, yeah.
So what we just recently found out is that none of our smoke detectors were connected to each other.
Oh,
They all were independent. It was very
Oh,
bizarre. Yeah.
That's
so
bizarre.
and again, I'm not a technology person, so I don't know how a proper setup is, but I was kind of surprised. I'm like, I would expect that to be like everything should
That's
be
code.
wired. Yeah. And everything should be wired to, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
What's your address again?
Right.
But
What
everything,
municipality?
I assumed everything was connected and everything was connected to our alarm system, and it wasn't. And I'm like,
Yeah.
21 years we could have died. Well,
Yeah.
it's very scary
Yeah.
when you find out that it's not done correctly.
Right.
So,
And that word connected
Yes.
means totally separate things
Yes.
in many different ways. And
Right.
one of the things that you've kind of said through this show so far that I've really kind of connected with is the connectivity between you and the rest of the world.
Yes.
And when COVID obviously stopped that. But just even the fact of that, it just seems so hopeful that you can walk into your studio and be like, I don't know, what does the next 10 years of my life look like?
Mhm.
And you get to have some fun with that and be
Yeah.
really imaginative.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool.
We like to dream big,
Yeah.
and install for today. But
Yeah.
put the plan in the future so that you can add on when the time is right, as your family changes or your
Right.
needs change and what have you.
Well, so
that.
let's go back to the beginning
Yeah.
again. I want to know how it was working with your husband.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, Angela, but working with my husband would be a little challenging, I would think.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of people, actually.
I mean, look, I love my husband and he's super smart, but he has a specific way of working. And I think that would really put a stress on our relationship to be doing that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think that my husband and I are so similar that I think we would butt some heads.
Yeah. Well, I would be fabricating reality if I didn't say over our 21 years and 30 together that we definitely butted heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many times. But we also we're a team. We are also a lot alike, my husband and I. We're divergent in many ways, but we work together and operate as a team.
Right.
So for the most part, when we were working together and we were small and it was young and it was different, we were building it. And
Right.
it was all about us working together.
Yeah.
And then there were changes and opportunities to take a company in a different direction.
Mhm.
That was a time when we would butt heads.
Right.
Maybe we'd add to our staff. I'd take a different role and things would get better because we're working together for the same purpose, but not together
Not
on
together.
the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And those were really good years.
Yeah.
And then every now and then we'd come back together to do some decision making
Right.
and maybe we'd butt heads again.
Right.
So there were definitely some moments where we would ebb and flow between a solid flow
Right.
working year, month, or week,
Right.
and then we could struggle. And I hate to admit it, but our employees saw a little bit of that sometimes.
Yeah.
What we did though, and I think, for anybody out there that's working with their spouse, we had some code words that helped
Mhm.
kind of stop some things that were happening.
Right.
Yeah. We
Mhm.
realized that if we were talking too much about work at home or home at work, we needed to stop that to try to keep a healthier boundary between the two.
Right.
So at the office, we would say banana because we never had bananas in the tech space.
Uh-huh.
And it was a shut this down so we can
Right.
pick it up another time. And then when we were at home, it was banana split because we never make banana splits.
Right.
Aw.
Right.
Yeah. And that just helped us kind of remind each other like, all right, when we're at home, we're in this for Logan,
Right.
our son.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
When we're at work, we're in this together for that reason.
Yeah.
Let's try to not cross as many paths as we can.
I love
So
that.
important.
I love
really
that.
is.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to go to a break here and we're going to pick back up with a little bit about, I want to talk about coaching
Yeah.
and kind of dive into what you've used over the years to kind of keep you on a steady entrepreneurial path.
Thank you.
Of course.
Will do.
All right. Briesemeister with Integration Controls. I do want to remind our listeners that you can find us at luinfo.com. You also can find us anywhere that you find your podcasts. So we're talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's also a YouTube channel for those of you who would like to see our lovely faces. We're here. And if you really, really love us, go follow us on Instagram at Co-FoundHers. Angela and I would love to hear from you. We do have a text line for any of you who are listening live. Again, a reminder, only if you're listening live should you text 314-590-3770 with any of your questions for us, for Jamie, about integrating your home, about entrepreneurship, about founders, about kind of getting through the burnout, all that stuff.
All the good stuff.
And then we're going to talk about some really good, like fun, inspirational things that Jamie has used over the years. And you can find those. We'll be posting them later on our site.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you like to know first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the things. Everything. Just
I want to know some of these hacks.
Yes.
Like some of the things that really keep you kind of motivated, or things that go through your burnout journey have really helped you kind of come out on the other side.
That is so great. It is a burnout journey, right?
Yes.
I said before we started this, I'm on the bridge to the other side, but I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Yeah.
But looking back, what helped me realize, I was over functioning.
Oh, girl, that is like the word of the week.
I was
now.
over functioning big time.
Yeah.
And I had a few signs from the world, my friends, people that would see it. Another friend of mine called me OA for overachiever. And I was like, and I was feeling this feeling in my body of just heavy. I said, there's an elephant on my chest.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get it up, and I can't get out of bed, and I'm losing my desire to be at work, and my desire to be around people, and my desire to help. And that was a struggle. So realizing it, for one.
Well,
Like truly listening to your
Yeah.
body and realizing, like, not just saying that you're in burnout mode, but realizing it to a point where I have to do something about this, or I'm going to get sick.
Yeah.
Right. Or my behavior was changing a bit. I was becoming a very prickly, short-tempered human, and that's not my nature.
Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of had a moment where I realized this is not who I want to be. So one of it was acknowledging to the people that are closest to me, saying, I realize I'm functioning in a way that's not normal for me.
Right.
And I need you to help me through this period of time.
Right.
And as a high functioning worker,
Yeah.
I don't ask for help very often.
Yeah.
None of us
Yeah.
do. It's also a that's a trait of an overfunctioner is we don't want to ask for anything.
And we don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
Even it's like,
Yeah.
I need help, but I don't know what with.
Right.
Can't
And
even
I don't know
identify.
I don't know how to ask. I
Right.
don't know what
Who
to
to
ask
ask.
for, who to ask,
Feel
and
shame. Yeah.
I was
big
just going to
time
say
shame.
the shame is
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
So what really started for me, it actually kind of, part of it was diving into books, trying to find a reason, a cause, a thing. And I read a book called Shame, actually, and it identified a lot of things that were probably like underlying the overwork, the subconscious motivators that made me want to armor up and push through instead of take a break and pause.
Yeah.
And understanding that I had this, like, I mean, I knew I had an operating system, a subconscious is kind of controlling in a way, but like understanding it,
Right.
listening to it, not running away from it. But when you feel that feeling of, oh my gosh, I need to keep going, and it's actually, you actually need to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Did it become physical?
Yes. Yeah. I ended up with colitis at the end of last year and landed in the ER with a gut that was just
Oof.
bloated and extremely painful, and had to go on a weird diet, and a depression. Like it was, and there's a gut brain connection. So there was
Absolutely.
something off systemically in me.
How long did it take you to, from the point that you started to recognize that you were in burnout, how long did it take you to actually take action?
It took me going to the ER.
Yeah. That was like the kicker.
Kind of, actually. And I hate to say that,
No.
but it really was a physical thing that had to, it's like, You had to hit kind of a low moment in time to say, hey,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
isn't working for you right now.
Right.
Mhm.
And I listened.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to my body.
Mhm.
I listened to myself. I started saying no to some things. I still
Mhm.
had to keep the business going. You know,
Right.
Right.
It was an interesting first 2 quarters of the year.
I was just going to ask
Mhm.
you, how did you maintain, because you are now a solo, because your husband is kind of taken out of,
Yeah.
he's kind of in semi-retirement,
yeah,
correct?
semi-retirement.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are now operating as essentially a solopreneur
yeah.
in your business, which is a very intense, busy business.
Yes.
How did you manage the kind of the burnout reality and the business at the same time?
I'm thankful to have a good leadership team
Yeah.
around me.
Yep.
And we operate on EOS. If anybody is
Yeah.
out there, you want to read the book Traction. It gives a great like business model of how you can structure a company. And having like not coming from a business background, it gave me a format.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that structure, we created a leadership team. And those were some of the people I pulled in when I said, I'm not behaving the way I need to, and I need your help in
Right.
this. And I need your help to work on this with me,
Right.
so that we can run this company the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
And they supported me in understanding what I needed of them. You know,
Mhm.
our new design center created this major level up of
Right.
Oh, sure.
everything.
Right. Well, because
And-
now all of a sudden the robe's open.
oh, it's open.
Everybody
Like, we're
sees.
super
Yes,
exposed, right?
yes,
The stakes
absolutely.
are higher. We're more visible.
Yes.
And I felt like I had been working towards leveling up, and I
Mhm.
hadn't necessarily pulled my people with me.
Right.
So that was a moment in time I realized, all right, I need to pull you in with me.
Mhm.
But it doesn't start with me putting armor on. It starts with me becoming softer
Right.
and more vulnerable. And it feels weird and
Yeah.
it's very uncomfortable. But that is really the way that we made it through.
Mhm.
The first 6 months of this year were in particular quite hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of time off in August to recenter myself.
Good.
Good.
And I needed it.
Yeah.
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 That's the other thing that is hard to do, especially when you're an entrepreneur. It's not only acknowledging it and asking for the help, but taking the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is no time. I mean, and I'm not talking to just entrepreneurs. I mean, everybody in our situation, any female out there, male out there that has a family, like there's just no time to take care of yourself. Like,
Yeah.
where does
Right.
that time come?
Well, you
'Cause
have to
something
make
has-
it.
You have to make
something
it.
has to give though,
Yeah.
and figuring out those trade-offs is really tough
Yeah.
sometimes.
Especially if
Yeah.
you like to do a
Yes.
lot and like very enriched by a full life.
Yes,
yes,
then
yes,
you want
yes.
to say yes to a lot of things.
Mhm.
I also realized sometimes I'd get caught up in other people's version of yes and what
Uh,
made them happy.
Yeah.
And it
Ooh.
sounded great in the moment to say yes. And then you
Mhm.
realize later, like, oh, I
Oh
probably
my
should
gosh.
have said no to this.
I
Right.
feel like that's my life.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do. I think that
I
we
love-
do
yeah.
get caught up in that. Sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to interrupt you.
no, I mean, it feels so good and you want to do it and it makes you
Mhm.
happy at
Yeah.
the time. But then when you look at it, you're like,
Ugh,
oh God,
Why
how
did
much
I
of
agree
me
to
is
this?
being taken away with this?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's tough. And it's real. And I think that a lot of times too, we don't have words to really put on it. You can really, when you call it burnout, it could be like 1,000 different things, right?
Mhm.
So it's having being with other people who can help you acknowledge and understand what it is you're dealing with, but also defining it in some way. I'm not one that typically likes labels,
Right.
but this is one of those places where I feel like we need labels. Like, I am in burnout and here's what that means. Here's what this looks like for us as a company. Here's what it looks like for me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what it means for me as a wife, as a mom, as a business partner, whatever it is. Like, I think the label is important in this case.
It is. And I think what also is important is that we don't attach a meaning to the label
Right.
necessarily. And
Mhm.
that's yoga was something that helped
Yeah.
get me through COVID. You've asked like what helps keep me on track. That's
Yeah.
also
Mhm.
I've diverted a little from it this year, but through a lot of my journey, yoga's been there. And in those moments where you're meditating or in shavasana or whatever, you have thoughts that come in. It's like you can label it. You
Yeah.
can say, I feel this way, but you don't have to hold on to it and give it meaning like, oh, it's because of this thing that happened way back
Right.
when, or oh, it's how I am forever and ever, always in the future. It's like this is a moment in time. This is how I feel. It is acceptable to be this way at this point in time.
Let it in.
Let it in. And then where can we go from there?
Right.
Yeah.
Like the full acceptance, I think, of certain things is really what we as humans tend to resist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
agree.
the acceptance of the true reality of whatever it is that we're in. And it's a journey.
Yeah.
Right?
Such a journey, right?
Yeah.
I mean, up and down, back and forth. I always personally think it's a challenge that you're in a good spot, you're in the flow, and you want to hold on to it. But how do you do that?
Right.
You know, it's like
Right.
you can't like bookmark a article or whatnot that can, I mean, that can help you to go back to. But
Right.
you know, how do you hold on to the good
The
feeling?
feeling.
But
Yeah.
it's not supposed to always be like that either.
Yeah.
No, it's
Right.
not. But
Yeah.
finding the balance. And as I continue to age, because we're all aging, as I continue to age and mature and in my own mind and learn, because I'm a continue to learn and understand things, I do understand what deserves space and what doesn't. And that's to what you're saying, Angela. I think that holding on to the feeling and giving that space in your life and making sure that the things that are taking away from that don't have the space. So it's almost like this very intentional way of living. Like, I don't have space for that because that's negative and it's not doing me any service, but I have space for this. I have space for yoga. I have space for books. I have space for, happy people.
Yeah.
I don't have space for people that are going to bring me, a lot of drama and trouble. And,
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
No more
Sorry.
of that.
no,
All done that, please.
Heck no, no, we're done.
Yeah.
But, you have to remember that those are people that actually, or things, it can be a thing that actually, we always talk about our social battery and our energy batteries. Those actually suck those things out and don't leave you the space for the good stuff anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really being intentional. I think.
Yeah.
Personally.
And I don't know if it's because we're women, because we're entrepreneurs, like not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah.
As mom, like we often give a lot to a lot of people in our lives, our employees, our families, etc. The whole reason that whenever you're on a plane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first is so that you can be there to help other people. But if you don't breathe, then you can't help others.
Right.
And I think I found that I had been like choking.
Yeah.
I had given so much for so long and truly didn't care about myself.
Yeah.
I had lost my own care for myself, which is sad, but it was a reality that I had. And now it's so nice to find myself or start to see that again.
That's awesome.
Gosh, this is why I love you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Every time. Well, no, you're not afraid of the deep conversation. And this is a very deep conversation and a very personal conversation. And I think that a lot of people have a hard time articulating what you're saying. And I really thank you for sharing that with us and allowing us to have this conversation because I think it's important.
We're all walking around with stuff, stories, baggage that we hide behind a business smile or what have you. And there's so much more to us as humans.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, fellow book nerd.
Yeah,
let's talk
about it.
Let's talk books.
Okay.
Business books, personal books, what are we talking about?
You tell me, what has been the single most influential book that you've read? Maybe not either ever or recently.
Yeah. So I mentioned Shame. That was the end of last year. That was really good for anybody struggling with kind of understanding their psyche a little bit, like what drives them, what motivates them. On the business side, early on in our career, especially whenever I was looking to take on more leadership roles, I read a book called The Pumpkin Plan.
Ooh,
I know. It's
how
a
have I
good
not
one.
heard about this?
It's by Mike McAllowitz, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. And the concept there is your business is your blue ribbon prize winning pumpkin.
I like that.
And you want it to be as big and as beautiful and as fruitful and lush as you want it. So how do you do that? How do you grow that big pumpkin? Well, part of the philosophy in farming is that you cut the ones off the vine that are stealing the energy and taking the resources.
We just talked about that.
Right?
This
and
is so interesting.
In business, we literally took all of our clients, we ranked them by revenue.
Yeah.
We looked at the ones that were the top 20. We looked and we were like, which ones do we love working with? The ones that are kind and gracious and pay quickly and understand what we provide and don't fight us for solutions. And then we marked off the ones that caused us angst and took our resources and depleted our soul and made us feel like garbage when we, you know, whatever it was. And then we kept ranking. And then we looked at those top 20 and said, like, what are the characteristics about those top 20 that I want to attract more of?
Yeah.
And I haven't done it again, but I've actually been feeling the pull to try this again. It's been a while.
It's a great tool.
Okay. I kind of love that. Angela, we need to do that.
The book is great. The book is great too. You know, it applies to a bakery and a hair salon and
anything,
any company. It's really not any one business that could use that.
That's amazing. That's a great,
good tool.
Good one.
Yeah.
During COVID, and anytime you find yourself really trying to struggle with hard decisions and you know, bad things in life or whatever it is, or maybe even ahead of that to, you know, give yourself some juice for when the bad time comes, because something will. The book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Okay.
By Ben Horowitz. The book is called The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Building a Business When There Are No Easy Answers. And such a great book to listen to. His voice is amazing. And he leads every chapter with lyrics from a song that he likes. Most of them are like rap songs.
Love that.
He takes like some great lyrics and applies it to real life scenarios.
Nice.
That's a fun one.
It's really good listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you suggest listening?
I suggest listening. I'm a listener.
I was going to ask if you are a reader or a listener.
I'm a listener because I'm a busy person, and then I feel more productive because I can do stuff with my hands when I'm listening.
Right.
And enter the over-functioning moment.
Yes, exactly.
But if I'm in my garden, like it's a little different.
Correct.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, so on that note, do you have podcasts that you listen to then? That are your go-tos?
I have one that recently found called The One You Feed.
Okay.
Fantastic podcast. If you've heard the parable of a young man and his grandfather, and the grandfather talks about there's two wolves inside of you, and one is kind and gracious and good, and one is, you know, full of evil and anger and jealousy. And the young boy looks at his grandfather and says, well, which one lives? And he says, the one you feed.
Oh,
and so
that just gave me chills. That's so awesome.
So that whole podcast is about focusing your energy in a way that's intentional.
Yes.
Acknowledging the bad wolf, the angry wolf, the jealous wolf, and also choosing a different path.
Interesting.
It's a really good podcast.
Okay. I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
What about yoga? What's your favorite type of yoga?
Well, I don't know.
Do you like hot yoga?
No. I did it one time. I think the instructor, I expected to go into a yoga doing calm yoga in a hot room.
Yeah.
Not a militant yoga experience.
Yeah.
So that shocked
yoga
me.
boot camp.
Yoga boot camp. Not into that kind of yoga. No, yoga for me is mind-body connection.
Yeah.
So whatever that is.
Yeah.
Flow.
Yeah. Flow. Yeah. I don't mind kicking it up and sweating a bit. And any of the restorative poses where you just hold that deep, long stretch and breathe into it. I've lost a lot of people in my life, and in those grieving moments, to lean into a pose, to breathe and remember your loved one, to cry it out if you have to. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Yoga is an emotional movement, sometimes in ways that you don't expect.
Yeah. And if you're
means.
practicing with intention, again, it goes back to that intention. If you're really practicing with intention and not just trying to like bang that hour out.
Yeah.
It's like, it can be very powerful.
Yeah.
And a great
the
tool.
Hips hold so many
They
emotions.
do.
Yeah.
The hips don't lie.
Hips don't lie. They do not lie. What are some of your books that you've read or podcasts that you listen to?
Well, I'm a big Mel Robbins fan.
Yeah,
I just feel like I know that she's everywhere and everything, but I do think that she has good messages that kind of speaks to me. I haven't been as on listening to them lately, but I definitely like still follow her on Instagram and social media.
Yeah.
Just even the short like little blips.
Yeah,
are,
definitely.
like, really
inspirational.
good. Yeah.
So Let Them, is that a book that you've read?
Yeah. And it's so simple. I forget it all the time though.
Yeah.
And it's one of those I'm sensing a pattern here. Like but no, it is powerful. It's a different mindset.
But it goes back to like what we were talking about earlier. It's like some people like really do suck the energy out of you, and you have to just you have to remind yourself constantly, let them. It has nothing to do with me. Like that is their to your lesson you taught me years ago, Angela. It's their story. That's their story.
Right.
You like that lesson.
That was
So
landmark.
Angela,
Landmark for
Angela Sandler taught me the best thing, and it's not only let them, but that's their story.
Yeah.
It's not your story. So let them.
Right.
Let them live their
Right.
story.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a character in their book.
Their narrative is not your narrative.
Right.
I mean, I hate to keep throwing all this lingo out, but it's truly, it resonates so much to me personally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, good.
I don't read books for learning.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, I think, a lot over my years. Now I read for pleasure. I read for
Wonderful.
entertainment. So I am definitely a person that has to disconnect.
Yeah.
And so my way of disconnecting is reading books that are much more, I call them my mind candy.
Mm-hmm.
So, it could be anything from Harry Potter to, what am I reading right now, Remy? A Court of Thorn and Roses.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Remy gives me my books.
Nice.
That's good. Yeah, exactly.
I don't often listen to books for pleasure. I'm trying to bring more joy into my life. So that is an avenue that I am. But one that, since you said that, Braiding Sweetgrass is a great listen.
Oh.
The woman is a poet and Indigenous Native American, has some great stories, and she's a biologist as well. So she brings all of these, 3 different elements of her life she weaves together, and it's a great tale.
I actually like the image that I get from Braiding Sweetgrass. Just that name alone gives me such imagery that is really powerful.
Yeah.
That's
You'll
awesome.
get even more if you listen to the book.
That's
or
awesome.
Read the book.
Okay, I will.
Yeah,
I definitely
highly
will.
recommended.
Do you want to do your
Can we
fast?
do a rapid fire?
We've got about 1 minute left,
Okay.
guys, and we're going to try to do our rapid fire. We'll see how many questions we can get in. But before we do that, I want Jamie to tell us where to find her.
Yeah, so we are at Control STL on all social media platforms. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Jamie Briesemeister. That's Briesemeister. And our company is Intergration Controls. We're in Sunset Hills off of Watson Road, 10164 Watson Road.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
here we go. Let's go with our rapid fire. We've got 1 minute, girls. Let's go.
All right.
Favorite technology?
Lighting control.
Ooh, I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Mhm.
that. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With cream.
Yeah, half and half.
Yeah. Half and half or sweet cream, either one. Yeah.
Ooh,
sweet cream.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
That's a really,
kryptonite.
that's a really good one. Favorite Saturday activity?
In the summer, hanging out by the pool, painting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah, I do like to paint.
What do you
Very
paint?
Flowers,
Landscape, flowers?
flowers, butterflies, stuff that's pretty.
Love
That's
that.
Yeah.
That's
so-
cool.
Centering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite place you've traveled?
Wow. Favorite place I've traveled, Belgium.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bruges.
Bruges.
Yeah,
Bruges.
love
Yes.
Bruges.
Bruges
Love
is beautiful. Yes. I would live there for 3 months if I could. Yep.
Okay, one more question, guys, and then we got to head out.
Favorite thing about being mom?
That I get the love that I give.
Oh, I love that.
Love that.
He's an amazing boy.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
Okay, Jamie Briesemeister, Integration Controls. Thank you
you.
so much for joining us today.
Thanks,
we
Jamie.
loved having you.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right,
appreciate
St.
it.
Louis, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye.